Welcome to coffee time. It is coffee time. It's a Sunday. We're going to do some coffee. We're going to have a nice chat. And today, science will occur. In the form of frozen beans. So I've mentioned this on stream several times. It's about 6 months ago. I'd say about 6 months ago. I took one of my favorite bags of beans. Well, actually, I bought 2 bags. I drank one at a time, and then I stored one in our freezer for a future test. It's been about 6 months, so I've opened up the bag, and we're going to see what that's like. Like, did I store it correctly? Does it do any adverse effects to the taste? Has it gone off? I mean, I stored it in a sealed, like, it, you know, it's airtight, but it was in the original bag. You know, I didn't like pour it out. Maybe I should have put it in like a jar or something. So we're going to just test it and see what it's like. I've got some beans. Let me go over to the coffee thing. There we are. You'll see 2 containers there full of beans right at the front. Oh, I need to turn on the other camera. Give me a second. There we go. Hey there, just a quick reminder, this is a recording of a stream I did on Twitch. If you like this and want more live content, come join the chat and the great community over on Twitch. I stream every week Monday, Friday and Sundays, or follow me on my socials for any changes or extra streams. Okay, thanks, and here's the video. Science indeed, it will be some science. So I got these 2 containers right here. One 14 grams and 120 grams because I'm going to do an Aeropress and I'm going to do a espresso with them. These beans have been out of the freezer, so they have defrosted, he says, thinking. I mean, they feel like room temperature now. They've been out for about, let's say, 45 minutes to an hour. Whenever I got out of bed, I took them out of the freezer. So they've room temperatured. They don't feel cold. So we're going to see what they're like, okay? I do have the rest of the bag still in the freezer. So what I might do, depending on how this goes, is I might go get some frozen ones, grind them instantly, because frozen ones will be slightly more brittle, so the grind will be slightly different, and see how that comes out. We might do a little bit more science, but we're just gonna test frozen beans, see how they went, whether I got it right, yada yada yada. We're going to do the Aeropress first. No, we're not. We're going to do the espresso first. Let's do the espresso first. Now, I need to remember, where's my book of coffees? What grind level does this usually like to be? This usually... Oh, lovely, I didn't write down... Oh, I did. 3 to 4, okay, there we go. We'll go for 3, to be on the safe side. So that should be 20 grams of, it's the Lewis & Cooper Colombian blend, one of my favorite coffees. One of my favorite coffees. I've had it several times on stream, so we're going to give it a go. I haven't done an Aeropress in a good while. Well, maybe today's the day, Joe. Time to read more on the history of the scientific method, aka straight of philosophy, and cry over my textbook. Oh no. It's half Dutch, half English. That's... Oh, switching from one to the other must be annoying. Full of little bloodstains from recent experiments. I don't know how I cut my finger, right? I just don't know. I'm now wondering if there's something sharp about that I just haven't picked up on, you know? Did I do it when I was setting up the light? I don't remember. I didn't feel it. Anyway, let's do an espresso. So, got my little basket here. Are you going to have an AeroPress today, Joe? Have you had coffee yet? Have you had any coffee yet? Considering it's like, what, 7 a.m. for you, I think you need a coffee. Right, we need the thingy. Right, let's do a little sniff. I mean, they smell like they usually do, so that's a good sign. My main concern is whether they've gone off, because the freezer, what the frozen bean process does is obviously, it's like any frozen thing, it stops chemical reactions, mainly. It's mainly chemical reactions, but also bacteria and various other things like that. But with coffee, it's the chemical reaction of oxygen and gases and things like that getting mixed in with the coffee, getting through the porousness of the coffee and interacting with things like the oils inside and gas escaping. That's another one. So the gas that's inside will escape because that means that it's then being replaced by oxygen and just general air and things like that, you know, and it's going to react badly, and that's how it goes off, because it goes stale. So being in a sealed container should prevent that, hopefully a little bit. It should equalize after a little bit. But also, the cold temperatures should prevent any chemical reactions from happening as quickly, because temperature, energy needed for a lot of chemical reactions. Not all, there are some that produce their own energy. But basically that is the science behind it. There we go. So we're just going to do a simple espresso, probably a simple Americano, if I'm honest. Get this over here. Do a little coolie flush. We'll have a small pot before gym time. Let's both have a cup. Ah, yes, fair. Oh, is it wifey gym day? That makes sense. That does make sense. Yeah, AeroPress isn't very multiple person friendly, is it? It's a single coffee thing, unless you get in the XL, which, you know, one day I will. I did have a coworker bring me some Brazilian coffee, so I should press that. Oh yeah. Oh, I do like a good Brazilian coffee. Coffee time to accompany some Sea of Thieves. Elnari, hello, welcome on in. Hope the waves, I hope the sea treats you well. And the less we talk about pirate games at the moment, the better, because I could really go off on one. I could really go off on one recent one that released this week. I'm trying to think of a funny way of saying no applause of whatsoever. I'm just gonna wait for that to turn green again. But yes, it did make me want to play Assassin's Creed Black Flag again. I don't know where I was up to in my save. Maybe I should start a brand new Black Flag game. Right, so this is a Colombian coffee that has been frozen for 6 months. We're just gonna see how it comes out. Okay, the speed is good. Color's looking good. You know what? Speed's a little fast. It's a little fast. Now, yeah, it turned out to be a little bit too fast. But we'll give it a go. Yeah, just a teeny bit. There we go. I'll try it black first, and then we'll add in some stuff. I had someone ask me if I was going to play it. I've just not heard good things. I would play it, and I would play it on stream if I got it for free. because I'm not paying 50, 60 quid for it. It's not even a AAA game at this point. It's, I mean, no, I'm not getting into it. Skull and Bones, don't bother. Just don't bother. Go find another pirate game. Sea of Thieves, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Sid Meier's Pirates. Any of those would be better. Any of them. Be more fun. Anyway, coffee. Okay, it doesn't taste bad. It doesn't taste like rotted, which is always a good sign. Because you'll just know when a coffee is off. You'll be like, yeah, that doesn't taste right. If you've made it the same way as you always do, you just know. And I know that coffee quite well. Let me add some milk. It was a little bit too fast, so there is a teeny bit of sourness in it. Just a teeny bit. Okay. Yeah, no bad flavors. But like the flavors I expect are maybe not as prominent. That may have just been like because maybe I didn't store it correctly, or I've put it in for too long, because I didn't check how long I can freeze coffee for. How long can you freeze coffee for? Let's do a Google. How long can you freeze coffee beans for? Because they were whole beans, which makes a difference, because if it's the ground stuff, up to 6 months. Okay, so we are right at the edge. Okay, so that might be on me. That might be on me. What I might do is I might buy some more coffee and shove that in the freezer in a different way, and we'll try it after like 3 months maybe. But yes, that is an espresso. Very nice. My friends convinced me to come back to it. Now there's non-PvP. Oh no, Sea of Thieves is good. We're talking about Skull and Bones. Yeah, no, Skull and Bones is not good. Sea of Thieves, amazing. They've had so much content. So much content. Like I say, the non-PvP stuff, the fast travel, so you can just get to places easy. Because that was kind of my issue with it is, I mean, if you want an offline pirate game, which looks good and plays nice and they're still updating, go look up Salt 2. I played it on stream this time last year. Salt 2. You can check it out on my YouTube. There will be a stream, maybe 2 streams. I played Salt, which was a bit more cartoony graphics, and then Salt 2, which the graphics are amazing. It's basically kind of offline Sea of Thieves. It looks as good, and it plays really well. There's stories, there's quests, it's procedurally generated, I think. It's good game, really good game. I highly recommend that for like offline single player pirate fun. Well, it's not pirates as such, it's sailing. I don't remember there being like other ships that you board and attack and stuff like that. There was just more like you're going through the islands, you're doing quests thing. But it was good fun. I think you can set up a base on it as well, so there is some sort of like survival crafty sort of element to it, from what I remember. But there's NPCs, there are spiders, watch out for the spiders, those are scary as hell. If you see an island covered in mist, don't go there. But Salt 2 is a great game. Do I still have it installed? No, I haven't played it for about 6 months. Have they done any updates recently? They have. They've updated more quests. It's still in early access, I think. Volcano Islands. Guns. Oh, they've added loads. I'm going back on this. Good fun. It was good fun. Anyway, pirate games, sailing games. There's plenty out there. Don't spend 50 quid on one which has been in development for like 10 years and doesn't know what it is and uses a cutscene for all the good stuff that you want to do. Right. Shall we do an AeroPress? My espresso will keep warm on my lovely heated mug. But we'll do a little AeroPress. So here I have 14 grams of the same coffee. It's been out of the freezer just as long. So let's shove that in there. So what should be happening now is it should be treated in the same way as like normal room temperature beans, because I did let them like warm back up to room temperature, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just the defrosting process. But if I get the ones out of the freezer, then they'll still be cold, and as the grinder goes through them, they'll be more brittle. The grinder puts heat in it anyway, so they should sort of, sorry, need to cough. They should sort of warm up to room temperature through the grinding process anyway. But there's no detrimental really effect of having them slightly cold when I'm adding the hot water. Really. In fact, some people say it's much better to have them cold, frozen, when you grind them. Mainly because grinders, the problem with grinders is they put heat into the beans as they grind it. I've got a very slow, powerful but slow grinder here. It's slower than other grinders, which means it doesn't mean it's not going as fast, or you know, it's not putting as much energy into the grind, which means less heat overall. Some grinders, they're very quick. Some of the cheaper ones, they're quick. They get quite hot, especially if we're running them continuously. And they'll put heat into the beans, and of course heat into food stuff. Unless you're getting to a certain temperature and cooking it, you know, it's not good. People say it basically it's going to turn them bad. So you want to be careful with that. So the whole point of having them frozen as they go in mitigates that as well. I've never had any issue with mine, but we'll see. Another sniff test. Here we are. AeroPress. Kettle has just boiled. Oh! Almost dropped a bin there. Let's give it a go. This will be a much better like indication of whether it's gone bad or not, because I know how AeroPresses taste, because I do them every day. I know this coffee very well because I've done it several times. Every time I go to the place it's sold, which is a lovely place in Yorkshire, I basically get a bag of every type they do, and 2 bags of this Colombian. And it's not like expensive, but it's not cheap. It's specialty coffee. Specialty coffee is, you know, it's like twice the price of normal off-the-shelf coffee, but it's an average price for specialty, this stuff, but it's really good. It's my favorite. One of my favorites. AeroPress. Everyone loves a good AeroPress. Everyone should get an AeroPress. Hey, if you want an AeroPress, check the link below, because actually I have an affiliate link for one on my Twitch page. I should add that to YouTube, shouldn't I? Yes, link below. Actually, I need to do a timer. Let me do a 2-minute timer. Then you've done the inverted AeroPress. I mean, it's fancy. It doesn't add. arguably, in my mind, it doesn't really add much to the process other than complexity of the making of it. The whole point about the AeroPress for me is it's simple. Look what I do. I stuck some coffee in, pour some water in, and now I leave it. And then at the end, I push the thing down. With the inverted one, you've got to be careful. You've got to flip it over, make sure it doesn't spill. If you're quick enough with the plunger and you're doing this right, you'll get the same effect. People argue, obviously it's more suspended, it's more immersed because it's inverted. It can't slip out the bottom, but it can't slip out the bottom because of how suction works, how pressure works. It literally can't leave there while the plunge is in. So it'll drip a little bit, but that's not the end of the world. My friend's after one. I'll give him that link, and I'll get like 1p from it. Thank you. I need to make sure that actually still works. Just give me a second. Where's my Amazon affiliate link stuff? Sign in. They may have kicked me out because I haven't logged in a good like. Why is my? There we go. My password wasn't working. All right, time is up. Let me do another 1 minute. I have literally just signed in. What are you on about, Amazon? Did it? Oh, it has disconnected my fucking account. Oh, well. I'll sort that out later. Leo! Leo, we're doing science. Sort of. We're doing sort of science. How are you on this fine Sunday? I don't know why I struggled to say the word fine then. Fine. We are doing an AeroPress. Let me just give that a little shake. And we'll push it down. We're good. I did cut my finger this morning as I started stream, and I'm not really sure why. We have a mystery cut on my finger. So yeah. I'm blaming Ollie because Ollie raided, and then I looked at my finger and I was like, "Oh, I'm bleeding." Don't ask me why Ollie raiding made me look at my finger. Because I can't tell you that. It's a secret. Not even I know. There we go, an AeroPress. But yeah, my finger was bleeding. I woke up late. It's been going. Dang it, Ollie. Ollie's too sharp. Oh, Ollie is too sharp. I'm okay. Didn't get to sleep till 4 AM. My dad just woke me up over Netflix. Your dad woke up because he was to talk to you about Netflix, or used Netflix to wake you up? Because using Netflix to wake someone up is impressive. Anyway, so what we've done is, I'll go over what I've done. I have a coffee that I really like. I froze a bag of it about 6 months ago. You can freeze coffee, as we I just Googled and I realized 6 months is kind of like the maximum. So you can freeze coffee, you can stick it in an airtight container, freeze it, and it should stay relatively good for 6 months. What I've done is I've taken a little bit of that coffee, I let it come up to room temperature before stream, and we've now made an espresso with it, which is here. And it tastes a little bit, it was a little bit sour, but I think that's because it was coming through a bit too quick. So I don't know if the freezing has meant I need to grind a little bit finer. But I've done an AeroPress here. I'm going to taste it black now. And because I know this coffee, I know AeroPress, and I know how much what it usually tastes like, I'll be able to tell you how this has gone. Whether it's gone off, whether anything has happened during the freezing and unfreezing, defrosting, Paul, of the coffee. I mean, nothing bad so far. Tastes kind of like it normally does. I'm going to stick in some milk because that's how I have my coffee. With a dash of milk. We've run out of milk now. Sorry for the slurp. Yeah, that just tastes like normal. If anything, it's slightly mellow. Like, the flavors I love about this coffee aren't quite coming out as much, which would just be sort of in line with it being maybe two weeks, 3 weeks old, you know? So if you get coffee, you open it up, you start using it, but at that point, you're adding oxygen and atmosphere. You can keep it in airtight containers and stuff like that, but it's eventually just going to start getting staler and staler and staler. The freezing process delays that, as I've mentioned previously in the stream about 20 minutes ago. So what's happened over the past 6 months is all I can say is it's probably just kind of gone through that 2 week, 3 week sort of staleness process slowly. Like, it's still good. It's still good coffee, but it kind of tastes like. In fact, that sip was better, but it kind of tastes like I'm getting to the end of the bag. It's been open for a week or so, which that's good. I'm gonna drink it. So because he needed me to tell Netflix yes, he can log in from another location. Oh right, okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. He didn't say, hey Netflix, start playing something on this TV, which just happens to be in your house when he sat in his house. Which, is technically possible. You bother to thaw the beans? My dad just grinds frozen from his drip mate. Okay, so, hey Pyro, by the way, I was just talking about this. So what I've done is I've taken just some beans and I let them come to room temperature for about half an hour before doing this. So I have the rest of the bag still in the freezer. And this has gone well enough. And I was talking about how, when you're grinding frozen beans, they're more brittle. So, the grinder might have to work slightly harder and you might have to change the grind setting, all that stuff. But it means that less heat's going into the beans because grinders put heat into the beans as they grind, because of friction, various things like that. People swear by having just frozen beans and sticking them straight in. I haven't done that this time because I wanted to see what they were like. However, guess what we're going to do now? I'm going to go get some frozen beans and stick them straight in. How about that? This coffee grinder is a beast. It's been grinding frozen beans for 30 years. Oh, it's one of those old school grinders. Yeah. Right, so this is actually really good. it's still really good. I mean, it's just one of my favorite coffees, so I'm gonna say that. Let me go get the beans. I'll clear out the AeroPress, and we will do one last AeroPress because that'll be a good comparison. I can turn off the espresso now. I need to fill up the kettle. I haven't planned this very well. Bear with. Talk amongst yourselves. We were just discussing, for anyone who has just joined, how absolutely shocking Skull and Bones is. Go fill your boots. To be clear, this coffee grinder is so old that they didn't care about it being dishwasher safe, so you can only clean it with damp paper towel. That's fair. That's fair. I have like an old school hand grinder, which is a burr grinder, conical burr, but old school hand grinder. And I have used it, and it does work, but it's a, oh my god, it's a workout. Coffee beans are tough, guys. They are really hard to break up. I've also broken them up in a pestle and mortar once. Because I used to have a blade grinder. So in fact, I still have the blade grinder. I would blade grind them, and then some of the big bits I was like, oh, they're not quite done. So I'd just stick them in a pestle and mortar and just try and smash them up a little bit more. Back in the days before I realized grind size was a big thing. Right. 14 grams. Going in. A little bit too much. These are frozen. I'll just go stick them back in the freezer. There we go. No, my mic. There we go. So we're going to grind these up, say exactly the same way. They are frozen though. So, question number one is my grinder isn't struggling. Doesn't even seem to be having any issues. That's good. We're going to use my lovely Cool Runnings mug. My Cool Runnings merch. Which I almost broke 2 weeks ago. I actually dropped it. Luckily, I dropped it from like this height because I was catching it as it fell. So that was... but it definitely hit the floor. There was a thud, but I almost broke it. So I can definitely confirm it. They're sturdy mugs. All right, there we go. So that's freshly ground frozen coffee. Let me check the temperature on that. Okay, it's still kind of cool. It's still a little bit like cool. So it has warmed up through the process, but you know, still relatively cool. Of course, with the whole freezing thing, there is humidity involved and moisture buildup. That's why you kind of want it sealed. You want as little air in there as possible, so there's not much moisture in the container as it freezes, because that causes crystals and whatnot, and water getting into the coffee at the wrong temperature means that it's not gonna. It's just not good for the bean, because I mean, I don't have to explain, right? That's just food science. Please tell me I don't have to explain why things in the freezer should be sealed. And why your freezer tends to get frosty over time, because air gets in and air's got moisture in it and all that. Which is bad for the food. And the efficiency of the freezer. Right, let's put another couple of minute timers on there. I realized I did not have the scene up. It wasn't that exciting, it's just an AeroPress. There's the cool Runnings mug right there. I've got the blue version. So we can get some more light on that. Oh yeah, let's get some action shots for Joe. Skull and Bones is atrocious. I watched a teeny bit the other day. Yeah, I keep getting TikToks of it, and it's hilarious how bad it is. People react. It's the shipboarding, I think, is the funny one, where they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna go board the ship, and it's like cutscene for about 2 seconds, and then it's like you've opened a chest. Here's your loot. Oh, and then the enemy ship just sinks. It's like, what? That's not fun. That's the worst. I hate non-dishwasher safe things. I got my dad a solid stone mortar and pestle and made sure it was dishwasher safe. A lot of things can be dishwasher safe, even if they say they won't. It's the problem with dishwashers is the detergent, soap stuff you stick into it is abrasive. It's not foaming like you're washing up liquid. It's abrasive. So things like non-stick coatings will just be worn off. It doesn't stop them from being clean. It just wears them off quicker. Certain things, like if it gets too hot, glass can be blown if it's not good glass, and certain metals can tarnish a little bit, but again, that's part of the abrasion, part of the chemicals that are in there. So you can just do a shorter, cooler wash and find less abrasive soaps. There you go. We stick up pretty much everything in the dishwasher. At one point I didn't, because you shouldn't, but now I do. Because in my mind, the time saved not washing up and the pain from standing over a sink and just like washing things up, because I'm tall, I hate bending over and washing things. The time and effort saved not doing the washing up is worth more to me than maybe spending £5 and buying the thing again in maybe a year. And as it turns out, it's probably more like 3 years. So everything, literally everything goes in the dishwasher. Very little doesn't. If I care about it, it doesn't. But I stick a lot of things in there. I don't stick the like bits for the espresso machine in there, because I hand wash them. They're tiny. That's fine. Let's stick another minute on the timer. But I also like some of the stuff that is not quite dishwasher safe, I stick on the quick wash, cooler wash. So it's not in there as long, but it's still clean. Still clean. The one my dad had is one of the ones where you press down on the lid to make it go. He always did this after throwing a kitchen towel over it because it was loud, and he was making it like 5 to 6 a.m. when the rest of the house is asleep. That's like my blade one. You have to have the lid down because for safety reasons. That's fair. Oh yeah, electronic stuff doesn't go in dishwasher. No, that makes sense. I I can't stick, even though this is technically watertight. It's got a battery in it, so I wouldn't stick that in there. All right, I'm just going to remind myself of this one. Fancy knives in the dishwasher. Again, you can, but the abrasion will wear away at the tip. You know, it'll wear away at the actual sharpness of it eventually. You just got to keep them sharp. Also, the handles might get a little weird. All right. So, Aeropress number 2, frozen beans. I need to make sure I don't spill this one. Sometimes I overfill this mug. Yep, there we go. I knew I would. The other mug is slightly bigger, so it means I can put in water and let the Aeropress go down slightly and then put a teeny bit more water in. This one is like exactly the same size as the Aeropress capacity, so it fills up to the top, as you can see. Should I be having this much coffee? It's only 3, I mean, one of them is a double espresso, but it's only 3 coffees, it's fine. Plus it's before 2 p.m, it'll be all right. No discernible difference with the previous one. I don't have enough milk to make this properly milky. But let's give it a go. Uncle Stinky 3921. Hi from Seattle. Hi from Wales. How are you doing on this fine Sunday? What time is it there? Oh my god. Wait, hold on. Seattle. Is it like 5 a.m.? 5 a.m? 6 a.m? Too early. Yep, that's the answer. That is the answer. Right, so literally no difference. No difference. Go back to sleep. They might have a night job. You don't know that. 9 hours behind. So 8 hours behind me. 4 a.m. Yes, 5 a.m. Yeah, I was right. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. Wow, thank you for stopping in. Are you up early or are you up late? That's how you figure it out. Are you being up late or are you getting up early? In which case, are you having a coffee? Because that's what we do on Sundays. Every Sunday morning, 12 noon UK time, which would be 4 a.m. for you, unfortunately. We make coffee, then sometimes we play some games, build some Lego, play some chill games. Today we're not doing that. We're just gonna have a chat, and then in 6 hours from now, we're going to play some Return to Moria with some friends. So we'll be back. Yeah, I'm not seeing an absolute difference whatsoever. I'm up early for some reason. Oh no. Well, if you don't know, I don't know if we can help. Oh, I hope your Sunday treats you nicely and you can rest up at some point, because I'm not a morning person. I'm not a morning person. I struggle to get up for 9. On weekends, I struggle to get up before 11, really. I'm a late night person. What kind of coffee are we drinking today? We are drinking a lovely Colombian blend from a shop in Yorkshire. They do a nice specialty coffee. I have made an espresso. What we've actually done is we froze it for 6 months. About 6 months, 5 to 6 months. Can't remember when I put it in. But we did freeze a bag, and then we're just testing that now to see how it's come out. So my espresso, or I guess it's an Americano now, it pulled quicker than usual, so I need to reduce the grind on that one. But I made 2 AeroPresses. Here they are. I got too much coffee on me right now. This one is with the beans brought up to room temperature, defrosted basically before grinding. And this one is frozen beans straight in the grinder, into the AeroPress. No difference between them. Which, to be fair, I didn't really expect much difference. But science, perfectly fine. So as long as you freeze your beans, you stick them in an airtight container, no longer than 6 months, they say, and make sure there's as little air in there as possible, no moisture getting in there. The only thing I can say is it tastes like the bag's been open maybe a week or 2 at this point. That's what it tastes like, because I've had this coffee many times before. It's one of my favorite coffees. It's a lovely, lovely coffee. But it does taste like I've had the bag open. You know, I'm getting to the end. Excuse me, getting to the end of the bag. That's probably why my dad does frozen beans. No point in waiting for them to thaw. To be fair, I only left them out for 10, 15 minutes and they were already room temperature. But yes, Pyro, there's no reason for it. And that's what people have been saying. Freezing them doesn't really have much of a detriment if it's done right. I mean, if you freeze them and they get moisture in there, or, you know, it's already pre-ground coffee and stuff like that, it'll go off quicker and all that stuff. You've got to do it right. But if you go somewhere and you're like, I really like this coffee, but I don't want to buy like 2 bags of it because the second bag is going to be off by the time I get to it, freeze it, stick it in a jar, airtight, freeze it, something like that. I have a coffee and a potato in my steamer that I am going to fry up with some eggs. I thought you meant you had coffee and potatoes in the steamer. It's like, that's a weird combination, but you have a coffee and now you have potatoes in the steamer that you're going to fry up with some eggs, some sort of cured meat. Ooh, plus that is good. That sounds heavenly. I love some potatoes. I love some meat. I love eggs. Sounds like a good morning. You finally finished your reading. How did it go, Sonny? So I see an espresso machine. Would you care to tell us your secrets to perfect a cup? Oh, wow. Okay, well. In fact, what you can see over here. Let me switch cameras. Oh, that camera's gone off. Okay, well, you can actually be off now. Yeah? Yeah. Let's turn that camera off. There we go. So, this is my espresso machine. It is a lovely Italian espresso machine. It has a water reservoir in the back, boiler in the middle. It does heat exchange, so water comes from the reservoir, exchanged with the already hot boiler. And then it's got a hot water tap and a milk steamer on the side. My tips for a good espresso is think of the variables that go into it. All right, so you've got the actual roast you're roasting, that you're making. You've got the grind size. You've got water temperature. You've got the time it's having the water come through it. You've got the output liquid you want. So try and like get as many of those the same level, the same for every pull, and then you can dial it in. So I always put 20 grams in because my basket is 20 grams. So I always put 20 grams in. Let's say I put it on grind size 4, and I always try and pull for 20 to 20, 25 to like 35 seconds, somewhere in the middle there. Depends how fast it is. If it's too fast, I'll stop it early. If it's too slow, I'll let it go a little bit longer. But if it's too fast, I know I need to grind finer, and I know, you know, how much water I want out, because I know in my containers, in this one, bottom of the handle is where I want to be for 40-ish mils out. So 20 grams in, 40 mils out, 2-to-1 ratio, that's an espresso. It's actually a double technically, but it's all about keeping that ratio. So then the only factor you have there is your grind size, which affects the pull rate, the actual water coming through it. So change the grind size, go down, slow it down. As long as you keep some things consistent, you know that the things you can change are what's affecting it. That would be my first tip. There you go. How about that? I'm always happy for more questions. Please always come by and ask me questions. You're drinking a Starbucks Christmas blend. It's meh, which is it's meh, which is usual for Starbucks. We have very strong opinions of Starbucks in this stream. They over roast their beans. Their blonde roast is a dark roast. At best, it's a medium dark roast. We do have very strong opinions. I don't hate Starbucks. I do go to Starbucks and I drink it. And I have tried the Christmas blend. In fact, I had that on stream before Christmas. It was all right. Thing is, a lot of coffees, if it comes out bad, it's usually the process rather than the bean. It's, you know, certain beans, certain roast levels, certain ones they're gonna tailor themselves more to a certain type, whether it's a cafetiere, French press, or espresso. You know, somewhere in between. Some will be better at one than the other because they all do it in different ways. They all bring out different parts of the flavors. So Starbucks is good for espresso because in Starbucks they put a lot of either sugar or milk in it, which counteracts the burntness of the roast. And we'll leave it at that. Thank you for funding my coffee addiction. Oh my god, did I miss something? Did I miss something? Also, can I get a shout out for Mr. D. Thomas for that lovely donation? Was that a Ko-fi? It was a Ko-fi. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, I can't log in. Okay. Is it that one? I've forgotten which account it is that one. Oh my god, what's going on here? Thank you so much for that. You didn't have to be so kind. Thank you so much. Sorry. I wasn't looking at chat, no problem. Sorry, I completely missed the notification. Thank you so much for that donation. As always, you don't have to donate anything to me or pay me anything or subscribe or anything. It's much appreciated, but I do this because I like it. You never have to do this, but I do appreciate it so much. Go check out our friend, fellow Cosmic Hearter. Please do go support. Thanks for the shout out. I was looking, but heard you mention the not great coffee. I'll have to lurk. Thank you so much. Thank you for the lurk. As always, I agree with a burnt taste of Starbucks. This blend is just weak in any flavor. Use a French press. Okay. How long? Okay. Question for you, Uncle Stinky. By the way, if you want me to call you by anything else, let me know. How long do you leave the water in the French press before you push it and pour. What sort of time you're talking there? Are you like a long period? Also, how much coffee are you putting in for water versus water? Because the ratio is also kind of important for that. Try to look when I can, so no worries. Oh, thank you so much. 2 to 3 minutes. Interesting. So my issue with the French press is it's one of the most widely available home coffee making processes. Like, you go to any shop, you'll see a French press, a cafetiere on the shelves in like the kitchen homeware sort of stuff. But you won't see anything else. Like, you might see maybe a mocha pot. I've got one, it's in the kitchen. But you won't see anything else, really. You might see the pour over the automatic drip machines, again, which I have here. But it's the most widely available for what I would call proper coffee, ground coffee, which you can buy off the shelf. And you have a combination of not specialist, but, you know, ground coffee mixed with a device which people don't really know how to use. Because what they do is they just chuck in a shit ton of coffee, fill it with hot water. Then they're impatient, so they don't wait for it to brew properly, push it down, pour it out and go, it's coffee, innit? Tastes awful, but it's coffee. It's better than the instant stuff. And that's the problem, is they don't know how to make a good French press. We've done it many times. I mean, if you want to check out, hold on a second. Is that my command? If you want to check out all my YouTube, every single one of these coffee things goes on YouTube. It's a full playlist, 3 years of the stuff. I've done French presses before, but like, you've got to get the ratio right. You've got to get the timing right. And I'm not saying you're not. I'm just trying to educate on that process. Where is the French press? It's got to be in here somewhere. It's iced coffees. This is a book by Mr. James Hoffman, who is a coffee guru. If you've not heard of him, go check out his YouTube channel. Very informative stuff. His method of French press is very good, and I highly recommend go watching his video on it. Here we go. So the problem is like, people just fill up that and they'll go, I'll push it down, I'm bored, I want my coffee. They're impatient. The key to it is not being impatient. One, get the ratio right, and that's about 60 grams per litre, which is about what did I work this out with before? 16, 17 to 1 ratio. It's about, you can go up to 18 to 1 really, but 16 to 1. So for every one bit of 1 gram of coffee, is that about right? Yeah, for 1 gram of coffee, you want 16 milliliters of water. Second is they don't get the grind size right, and the grind size from pre-ground coffee off the shelf won't necessarily be coarse enough, or it might be too coarse. The thing is, they try to do a middle of the ground grind with those pre-ground stuff, and it's never tailored to the method you want. They say, hey, it's good for all of these methods. It's like, it clearly won't be, because the grind size will be different for each one of those methods. And the third thing is, don't be impatient. Leave it for minimum 3 minutes, 5 minutes if you can. people get bored after 2 minutes and plunge too quickly. Way too quickly. So you want to leave it as long as you can, because leaving it longer isn't going to do anything bad. Leaving it long, because the way immersion brewing works is you've got the coffee, you've got the water, they're mixing together. They can't really over mix. There's only so much water can be soluble in water. Only so much coffee stuff can be soluble in there. It might get strong, but that's when you bring in how much coffee you're putting in. You don't put in as much. So, leaving it in there longer isn't going to affect too much. Temperature might drop a little bit, but going from 3 minutes to 5 minutes. French press, I would always go 5 minutes. What was it? 16 to 1, 60 grams to 1 litre of coffee. Work that out for the size of your jug. Plunge it down. With most French presses, it's got a metal filter, so there's a lot of fines coming through. So you've got to get that grind size right. You could also double filter it through a paper one to get rid of some of that sediment, but that's how you get a good one, in my opinion. Dried! I am here for coffee. Well, you're here at the right time. I've got an Americano and an Aeropress. 2 Aeropresses, technically. 15-minute French press. It wouldn't do anything bad. Let me tell you, I have left an Aeropress. I've left this bad boy accidentally because my ADHD is terrible. I've left it for 20 minutes once. Probably longer. I wasn't paying attention and I suddenly went, where's my coffee? And then my brain went, you were making a coffee? Yeah. Did you finish making a coffee? Shit. And it's no different from if I had it for 5 minutes. The only problem is it was slightly colder, but it was perfect drinking temperature at that point. So, immersion sort of brewing is fine to leave a little bit longer because, as I say, there's only so much stuff that can be soluble in water. There's only so much you can extract from the coffee. And because it's mixed in, it'll all be evenly mixed in. There's no channeling. It should all be good. There's obviously caveats to that, but that's why I love the Aeropress. It's quick, easy, very easy to clean, and it's portable. You can take it anywhere with you, and it's really hard to fuck up. It's really hard to fuck up. You like 138F drinking temperature. What's that in actual temperature? No offense, but I don't do F. What's 138F in C? 58, almost perfect. That's what I agree with. I have a Ember mug here, which has a little battery in it, a little heating element in the bottom. And it comes with an app and you can set the temperature. And I've set the temperature to 55 degrees C. It can go anywhere from, I think, 50 to 65. I've set it to about 55, maybe 56. So this is my Americano. Perfect drinking temperature. You shouldn't drink coffee boiling hot. Because your tongue works better lower temperatures. You taste better at lower temperatures. Although you should brew it higher. So light roast should be nearer 97 degrees C. Dark roast should probably be nearer 94 degrees C. I think that's right. Yeah. It should be up in the 90s. Letting it cool to drink to about 60 degrees C. Perfect. That's when your tongue works best to get the flavors out. So there's no point in burning your tongue at 80, 70 degrees. Absolutely no point, because your tongue won't taste half the stuff. This is the thing, people rush, they completely rush the coffee process and ruin the coffee. Almost perfect, sorry, I meant, I didn't mean the word almost. I need to add the temperature conversion to the bot, yeah I do. Show setup. Okay, here we go. Hold on. Nope, that one. There we go. Let me just get things. So I got my espresso machine here. It's a lovely little Italian espresso machine. A home one, but it is a kind of a beast. See if I can get a better shot of it. You can see like, there you go. It's very shiny, so it doesn't come out very well on camera. It's it's got a boiler in the middle, a water tank in the back. It's a heat exchanger, vibration pump, if you want to know. Heat exchanger means that it heats up a boiler, then it pumps water through and around the boiler to get it up to the 90 degrees. And so it's got a hot water tap, milk, steamer. It's basically it. I can't remember the make. What's the make? Hold on, I've got it written down somewhere. It's an ISO VV Mark II. It's about 15, 17 years old, but all the parts of it are fairly standard. So I can, like, this is the standard size group head off your commercial one, so I can just replace the whole thing. So it's very, very standard. There's lots of machines like this as well, so getting replacement parts is great. It's been maintained very well. I've had it for almost 3 years now. 3 years? 2 years? When did I get this? I think it's 2 years. I also have this automatic machine here, which is a Wi-Fi enabled drip machine. It's got a built-in grinder, but I don't ever use it. You know, it's the one with the basket at the top, drips water over the top. It's got the big jug underneath, does about 12 cups. That is Wi-Fi smart enabled, has an app. It's the first machine I got. When I was actually working from an office and stuff, coming home or getting it to start up in the morning or whatever, perfect, great stuff. Still use it when I've got lots of meetings in work and I need a lot of coffee. That is a smarter coffee machine. If the make is smarter, if you want to look that up. It works with Google. It's got geofencing. It's got some good stuff. I got my Aeropress, standard Aeropress. If you don't know about the Aeropress, if you're going to start coffee making, get an Aeropress. One of the best ways to do it. Like I say, really hard to fuck up. I have a mock pot, which isn't here. It's in the kitchen. What else do I have? I have a French press and a pour over, which again are in the kitchen because they're being cleaned. I change up how I make coffee every day. But I have a metal, not V60, but a metal pour over filter thing. It's very cheap. I need to get a new one. I've got a Vietnamese Fin filter here. Do some Vietnamese coffee. Very, very nice. I've got my grinder over here, which is a Wilver Uniform. I think that's the Wilver Uniform Plus. There we go. It's mainly for pour over. It's not really an espresso grinder, but I make do. I don't have enough money to buy an espresso grinder at the moment. What other stuff do I have? I mean, I do have a Turkish coffee pot, which I've never used because I don't have hot sand to do it in. But that lives up there. Auto what? Or the automatic drippy sort of thing. Wilver, yes, Wilver, that's the one. Yes, please don't use the Pepe emotes. They are associated with hate groups. Please don't use those. Upgrade the burr. I have been thinking about doing that. The problem with upgrading the burr is it will throw out all of my knowledge of how the grinder works. So obviously I know what steps all the grinder settings are. Like I know an 18 is good for this, 24 is good for that. As soon as I stick new burrs in, all that's gone out the window. I'll have to do a lot of trial and error to try and get back to my current knowledge level. So yes, I really want to do it. I don't have the time to spend on that right now. I don't have the brain capacity to spend on that, but that is a good tip. It's something I do want to do. Oh, I have this. It's a little clay bean from Japan. Little clay, little like rock thing. If your coffee is too bitter, you stick that in there and it nullifies a lot of the bitterness, which is kind of nice. It came with some coffee, which tends to be a bit bitter. So that's kind of nice. What else have we got in here? We've got a little coffee straw thing, which lets me drink directly from a mug with ground coffee in it, which is all right. It's not great. Drinking hot liquid through a straw is weird. I don't like it. What else have we got in here? I've got the cold brew attachment for the AeroPress. I've got some cold brew bags. Things like my little coffee frother, because we were experimenting with this versus the milk frother on the espresso machine. I have a lot of stuff, all right? And it's all your fault. I want to point that out. This is all your fault. I didn't do coffee streams until one of you said, hey, you like coffee, you should do a coffee stream. And then 3 years later, we're here. But if you want to see 3 years worth of coffee things, go to my YouTube, because all the VODs are there, every single one of them. It's definitely not your fault. Yeah, you don't even drink coffee, that's true. My next cup of coffee will be made with some civet poop beans that one of my roommates got in Thailand. I have some of that. We were talking about that earlier, actually. I have some. I got it as a gift. I don't know, it's somewhere in here. I haven't had it yet, and I haven't done it on stream yet because of the... so I did some research, and the animals are kept in some very dodgy conditions. Like, think battery hen sort of levels, if not worse. So I haven't done it. I haven't tried it because I want to do more research, and at least if I am going to do it on stream, I can educate you guys on how bad for the animals, how bad for the, how bad the industry is and that sort of stuff. So I do have some, but we need to be aware that they probably, it's not good for the animals. We try to get like fair trade stuff here and all that stuff, and there's no point in causing animals harm when I can have coffee from other sources that don't have to do that. You did support help. You did. You bought me a coffee making device. Several coffee making devices. Anyway, I've had one AeroPress. So if you're just joining, what we did today is I had some coffee which has been in the freezer for 6 months. I haven't done that before. I've never frozen coffee before. We took it out, we tried it. We've made an espresso with it, which is in this, which I might as well finish. And then I made 2 AeroPresses. One with it brought to room temperature before grinding, one frozen coffee straight into the grinder. There was no difference between the two, but this is the frozen straight into the AeroPress. You didn't know that? Yeah, so you could argue it's kind of like various other food processes, involving animals. But yeah, apparently because it's so lucrative, because the civet coffee stuff is 20 times more expensive than normal coffee. Specialty coffee is usually twice as expensive. I worked out this stuff costs 10 times more than my specialty coffee does per gram. So it's about 20 times more expensive, which means it's very lucrative, which means then people try to abuse it for money. So they'll get the animals, stick them in cages, and, you know, force feed them coffee so they poop it out and they can sell it, basically. That's basically it. I need to do more research, whether the one I got was, you know, a humane one or not. It's no different from eggs from caged chickens to free-range chickens sort of argument. You know, but it's kind of on the level of caviar. Now, caviar, if you've never looked up how it's actually made, is they breed the fish, they get them pregnant, and then they basically just steal the eggs from inside the fish. Which, you know, it's not very good for the fish. So it's kind of on that level of animal cruelty, which, you know, I'm not vegan or vegetarian or anything like that, but I don't want to cause animal harm when I can easily get coffee from so many other sources. It tastes like shit. Well, I don't know. I haven't tried it yet. It might do. Let's see if I can find it. It's in my big box of coffee somewhere. There it is. It is vacuum packed. Luwak. It's good until August of this year because it's vacuum packed. See, I've only got 50 grams of it, but I know how much this cost compared to a 500 gram of normal coffee. It's insanely expensive. This was given to me as a gift for my birthday, which I'm very grateful for, but I then did research because I don't want to come into these streams, talk about coffee and not know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Anyway, what time is it? 1:45. I think I might call it a day there. In terms of the science, I think frozen beans have proven to be just as good as normal beans. Like I say, it just tastes like after 6 months of being in the freezer, maybe the bag's been open for a week. Which is, you know, it's not bad. If I had maybe opened these up 3 months in, maybe it would be almost fresh, you know? But it's all about how you store it. It's all about, you know, airtight, no oxygen there, little moisture. You can split them up into like individual things, so you don't have to like pull out one dosage at a time rather than the whole bag or the whole lot. But yeah, you can easily freeze coffee for, they say, up to 6 months. You probably got a little bit more than that, but it'll start to drop off. It'll start to degrade because it just slows down the process, not stopping it. I've used coffee too much to warrant freezing. So the reason I did this is because this coffee is one of my favorite coffees, but it's only sold in one place. So when I went there last time, and I go there every so often, I bought 2 bags. I got one for drinking with it, you know, almost instantly, and I was like, I'll freeze this one for an experiment, but because I want it in 6 months' time, and I won't be going to the place for a while. So if you go to a place and you're like, oh, this is a really good coffee, but I'm not going to drink through this many bags of it, and you've got space to freeze it, you might as well buy it and freeze it. There's not really much detriment to it, if it's done right.